We start with daily chart. All right, now I want to see how we can look for trade. The first things based on daily chart, right now the only things is we want to see the breakout of 0.094. Okay, since this price haven't retested the previous low, that means the only things is we can expect this one as a start of the up move, following by the first wave correction. And right now we want to see the breakout of 0.095. Anyway, even if there is a breakout, mostly we can expect to see the deeper correction similar to what we have here as a running flat before we take the next trade, before we get the continuation. That's why even if you want to look for buy in the bigger picture after the price break the previous stop, we need to be quite careful about the one more, deeper correction. Okay, this is the only things we can highlight here. Anyway, the first things we want to see the breakout of the previous top, and even if we move to forward chart, buying any trade within this range is not really a good idea, because right now we're looking at this one as a correction. We want to see the continuation. If we put this one as a first correction, and we want to see whether this one is a third wave or not, because if we refer to the indicators, we see we have a divergence. That's why we need to be quite careful, because the first things, as I mentioned, we need to see the breakout of the previous top. Then from there, we want to see whether we can get ABC or not. Because as I mentioned, since we have a divergence, and even as I mentioned, based on daily chart, we are expecting to get the correction similar to what we have here before we get the continuation. That's why if we want to look for buy, we need to be really careful. But right now, the only things I'm looking for price to break the previous top. We need to see the confirmation for the breakout. And right now we cannot look for any trade. And even if we move to 1 hour chart, if we want to buy from here, I don't think we can get a really good trade setup, because the only way is to put our entry above the top. I won't suggest it. And the only thing is either we wait for the breakout, then from there we take the trade, or if this one can turn to a deeper correction. Okay, right now we don't have any trade setup, and we just follow the chart. We want to see what's the next, whether we can get any trade within this range, or even this one can turn to a deeper correction. If this one turn to a deeper correction, we can take the trade, we can look for buy. But rather than that, we just wait for the breakout of 0.09594. Then from there we look for the next trade setup. Anyway, we don't see any proper trade setup. The only thing is we want to see the breakout of the previous top. Then from there, we want to see how high it can go before we get the next correction similar to what we have here. If we get any correction, any flat similar to what I draw here, then this is where we can look for buy for the long term. Anyway, we just follow the chart. If I see any update, I will share. Thanks.